Tonight we witness a seismic shift in the global order, an event that will be remembered for years to come. Just moments ago, both Ottawa and Brussels delivered a coordinated, unwavering refusal to a new aggressive U.S. economic policy, sending shockwaves through diplomatic circles. The fallout is staggering. A potential $2 trillion evaporation of market value in a matter of hours, and the sudden, dramatic collapse of a $43 billion Boeing deal that was once seen as a symbol of transatlantic cooperation. But this crisis is about more than just money. It's about trust, the strength of alliances, and the very foundation of the post-war global economic system that has shaped our world for decades. The world is watching closely as the United States, under a renewed America First doctrine, openly challenges its closest allies, risking relationships that have been carefully built over generations. Canada and Europe's firm refusal signals the dawn of a new era, one where allies will no longer accept unilateral decisions from Washington and are prepared to chart their own course. This is a critical test for the transatlantic alliance, and for the stability of global markets that millions depend on for their livelihoods and futures. The numbers are almost too large to comprehend, but behind every statistic are real people, businesses struggling to adapt, workers facing uncertainty, and families worried about what tomorrow will bring. The collapse of the Boeing deal is a major blow to American manufacturing and jobs, threatening entire communities that rely on the aerospace industry. The broader market reaction suggests this is not an isolated incident, but the beginning of a contentious and unpredictable era in global trade, with ripple effects that could last for years. From Washington to New York, London, and Tokyo, the effects are immediate and profound, touching every corner of the interconnected global economy. The world is holding its breath as alliances are tested, leaders scramble to respond, and the future of global cooperation hangs in the balance, more uncertain than ever before. Stay with us as we break down what happened, why it matters, and what it could mean for you, your job, and the world economy in the days ahead. The crisis began with the Trump administration's Fair Trade and National Security Proclamation. At its core, a sweeping 25% tariff on all manufactured goods from countries without a bilateral trade surplus with the U.S. This move bypassed international trade bodies, demanding immediate compliance, even from America's closest allies. The administration argued that a strong domestic manufacturing base is essential for national security. Allies saw it as an ultimatum, undermining decades of cooperation. The policy failed to distinguish between rivals and partners, treating NATO allies in Canada the same as strategic competitors. Canada and the EU argued that accepting the terms would legitimize protectionism and unravel the rules-based trading system. Their coordinated rejection was a calculated risk, a stand for multilateral cooperation over coercion. They insisted disputes should be resolved through dialogue, not unilateral demands. The message: they would not be bullied into abandoning core principles. The European Union's response was both swift and remarkably unified, demonstrating a rare moment of solidarity among its diverse member states. In a strongly worded joint statement, all 27 member states formally rejected the U.S. proclamation, calling the tariffs not only unjustified but also a clear violation of World Trade Organization rules and the spirit of international cooperation. The EU immediately announced retaliatory tariffs on a range of iconic American goods, agricultural products, motorcycles, and high-tech components, carefully selected to maximize both economic and symbolic impact on the U.S. economy. This was not just about economics, it was a powerful political message to Washington, signaling that Europe would not tolerate unilateral actions that undermine global norms. European leaders, led by Germany and France, forged a strong consensus that the long-term threat to the international order far outweighed any short-term economic pain, emphasizing unity over division. The financial markets reacted instantly. Major indices like the Euro Stoxx 50 and other European bourses plunged, reflecting investor anxiety and uncertainty. European industrial stocks deeply tied to transatlantic trade were hit hardest, with some companies facing immediate losses and production slowdowns. The EU's defiance came at a heavy economic cost, but leaders deemed it necessary to defend the rules-based system that has underpinned decades of prosperity and peace. Behind the scenes, diplomats worked tirelessly, holding late-night meetings and urgent calls to ensure unity and prevent any cracks in the European front. The message was clear: Europe will not be coerced or divided, even if it means enduring significant economic sacrifice in the short term. Investors now fear this could be the start of a prolonged and damaging trade war, with ripple effects across global markets. The EU's stand is a calculated risk, but one they believe is essential for the future of global cooperation and the preservation of multilateralism. The stakes are high, and the world is watching closely as events unfold, aware that the outcome could reshape international relations for years to come. The transatlantic relationship has entered uncharted territory, with both sides now facing a future defined by uncertainty and the urgent need for dialogue. Just minutes after Europe's announcement, Canada issued its own strong and unequivocal rebuke, making it clear that it would not stand by quietly. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took to the podium, declaring that the U.S. tariffs were not just an economic blow, but a direct affront to the long-standing U.S.-Canada partnership and the spirit of cooperation that has defined the relationship for generations. Trudeau emphasized the deep economic, cultural, and security ties between the two nations, firmly rejecting the notion that Canada could ever be considered a security threat to its closest ally and neighbor. In response, Canada announced retaliatory tariffs on a wide range of U.S. goods, carefully matching the expected impact dollar for dollar to ensure a proportional response. The list of targeted products included American steel, aluminum, and a variety of consumer goods. Measures designed both to protect Canadian industries and to send a clear, unmistakable message to Washington. Despite knowing the risks to the Canadian economy, leaders across party lines agreed that yielding to U.S. pressure would only invite endless future demands and undermine Canada's independence. The government made the difficult choice to absorb short-term economic pain, believing it was necessary to defend national sovereignty and the principles of fair trade. Almost immediately, the Toronto Stock Exchange dropped sharply, with the hardest hits felt in sectors most reliant on cross-border trade with the United States. Business leaders voiced concern about the potential fallout, but there was also a surge of national pride in Canada's firm and principled stance against what many saw as unfair treatment. The message from Ottawa was clear: Canada is a partner, not a subordinate, and will always stand up for its interests and values. The decision was a political gamble, one fraught with uncertainty, but it was widely seen as necessary to preserve Canada's dignity and future negotiating power. Across the country, Canadians stood united, ready to weather the coming storm together, determined to support their leaders and defend their nation's interests. Now, the U.S.-Canada relationship faces its toughest test in decades, with both sides bracing for what could be a long and challenging road ahead. The coordinated rejection from Europe and Canada triggered panic across global markets. Wall Street opened in chaos. The Dow plunged over 1,500 points, halting trading. By midday, analysts estimated $2 trillion had been wiped from global stock markets. The sell-off was global. Asia, Europe, and the US all suffered steep losses. The VIX, the market's fear gauge, soared to its highest level in a year. Sectors with international exposure, industrial tech, materials, were hit hardest. Major U.S. multinationals lost billions in hours. The market's message, a trade war with allies, is a lose-lose scenario. Investors now face a world where alliances can't be taken for granted. The new reality carries a very high price. Amid the chaos, Boeing's $43 billion deal with European airlines collapsed. The agreement, a year in the making, would have secured thousands of U.S. manufacturing jobs. The European consortium suspended the deal, citing the unpredictable trade environment and direct response to U.S. tariffs. Boeing's stock plummeted over 15%, erasing tens of billions in value. The collapse hands a major advantage to Airbus, Boeing's European rival. Thousands of U.S. suppliers now face uncertainty and potential cutbacks. The loss is a direct blow to the American manufacturing sector. The tariffs, meant to protect U.S. industry, have backfired spectacularly. It's a stark illustration of the unintended consequences of aggressive trade policy. The fallout extends far beyond Boeing and Wall Street. Retaliatory tariffs from Canada and the EU target sensitive U.S. sectors, agriculture, autos, and iconic brands. American farmers now face steep taxes in key export markets, threatening their livelihoods. The auto industry, reliant on cross-border supply chains, faces higher costs, delays, and potential layoffs. Even whiskey and motorcycles, symbols of American culture, are hit, risking sales and jobs. The business climate is paralyzed by uncertainty. Investments and hiring are on hold. The chilling effect on growth and innovation is real. Nearly every corner of the U.S. economy feels the impact. America's deep integration with global markets is now a source of vulnerability. This standoff is redrawing the map of global alliances. Canada and the EU's coordinated rejection marks a turning point. America's allies are asserting independence. A more multipolar world is emerging, with Europe and Canada willing to endure pain to defend principles. China sees opportunity as the U.S. feuds with its allies. New trade partnerships may accelerate the shift toward Asia. The U.S. bypassing the WTO undermines the rules-based system it once championed. If America won't play by the rules, others may follow, risking global chaos. Rebuilding trust will require more than policy reversals. It demands a new diplomatic approach. The old assumptions about American leadership no longer hold. The global chessboard has been rearranged. Today is more than a market crash. It's a profound recalibration of the world order. The united stand by Canada and Europe sends a costly message: alliances matter, and unilateralism has consequences. The immediate toll, trillions lost, industries shaken, alliances strained, will shape international relations for years. The America First doctrine has collided with the reality of global interdependence. The challenge for U.S. policymakers: repair the damage and restore trust. July 26, 2025 will be remembered as the day the world pushed back. The future of the global economy now hangs in the balance. The next move will define a new era.